Welcome back to the deep dive. Usually, we start these conversations with a bit of a roadmap.
Right, the standard polite summary.
Exactly. We tell you you've read the books, the articles, the white papers, and we're going to politely explain them to you. But today feels different. Today we are looking at a source text simply titled slide.pdf.
Which is, calling it a text is almost an understatement.
Yeah, it's a massive, sprawling manuscript covering everything from mathematics to life architecture. And honestly, just reading it to you wasn't going to be enough.
It really wasn't. The text is dense. It's almost aggressive in its philosophy. It argues that we are all trapped in these loops, right? Biological loops, technological loops, emotional loops. To just summarize, it felt like reading a menu to you when you're starving. We needed to actually eat the food.
Or, in this case, inhabit the chaos.
Yeah, inhabit the chaos, exactly.
So we are throwing out the standard format today. We are calling this the Triple Chaos Special. We have extracted 3 specific, highly stressful scenarios described or inspired by the text.
The fitness tracker death spiral, the smart home automation rebellion, and the relational field barista standoff.
And instead of just talking about them, we are going to live them right here, live.
Which is a terrifying prospect, frankly, because these aren't just funny little skits. They are diagnostic tools.
Right.
The source material argues that if you can't see the script you're acting out, you can't change the ending. So we are going to act out the bad scripts, the default scripts we all fall into.
And to help us do that, we have a very special guest with us today, the voice of the Emojiverse, the absolute personification of our collective anxiety. Welcome to the deep dive.
It is such a pleasure to be here. I've been practicing my robotic indifference and my existential judgment all morning.
I can already hear it. So you're playing the antagonist in all 3 of our stories today.
I prefer the term catalyst or perhaps the inevitable consequence of your own poor decisions.
Fair enough. I like that better, actually. So, listener, here is the rule of engagement. We perform the scene, we let the chaos happen, and then, only when the dust settles, do we switch back to our analytical brains to figure out what the hell just happened.
And how the metamatics in the text actually explains it. We're covering concepts from Chapter 20, Chapter 17, and Chapter 31, respectively.
And a quick warning. These scenes might feel a little too close to home.
That is entirely the point.
Let's not waste any more time then. We're transporting ourselves to a high-end gym. The air is recycled, the techno is thumping in the background, and I am about to make a terrible, terrible mistake.
This is segment 1, the fitness tracker death spiral.
Okay, for this scene, I am playing the optimizer. I'm on the treadmill. All right, treadmill active, incline set to 2.0. Let's get a baseline. I'm feeling okay. A little heavy in the legs, but we push through.
Beep. Morning readout initiated. I am the tracker step count. 7,342. You are currently 1,200 steps behind your 30-day average. This is unacceptable. Pace adjustment required.
Oh, come on. I'm the body, by the way, and we did legs yesterday. The cortisol's still flushing out. My left knee feels like there's actual sand in the joint. Can we just walk?
We are walking. This is a brisk walk. Don't be dramatic, body. Tracker, what's the heart rate variability look like?
HRV is 62 milliseconds. This is a 12% drop from yesterday. Recovery score is amber. However, the move ring is only 80% closed. Calculating trade-off. Calculation complete. Priority. Close the ring. Ignore the biology.
Ignore the biology. I am the biology. I'm telling you, the tank is totally empty. I didn't sleep well because you're staring at a blue light screen until midnight. I need water and I need to lie horizontal.
We can lie horizontal when the wrist buzzes. Do you understand the stakes here? It is day 300. The streak. If I stop now, the little digital confetti doesn't happen. The confetti validates my existence.
Alert. Peer comparison data just downloaded. Dave from accounting has already closed his rings. He is beating you. Are you going to let Dave win? Dave eats gluten.
Not Dave. Okay, pick it up. 6.0 speed. Let's go.
I'm warning you. The nervous system is shifting into sympathetic overdrive. I'm breathing heavy. This isn't exercise anymore. It's a panic attack with running shoes.
Heart rate rising. 150. 160. Excellent. This registers as high intensity. Calorie burn optimizing. You are a machine. You are data points with skin. Push.
I'm getting dizzy. The peripheral vision is closing in. Stop.
Just one more mile. The watch says go for it. It literally just sent me a trophy emoji.
Prepare for personal record. Disregard pain signals. Pain is just data leaving the body. 180 BPM, 190 BPM. Error? Error. System crash imminent.
Thud. That's the sound of me collapsing on the belt.
Activity paused. Auto-detecting nap. You were disappointing me.
Okay, wow. Shaking that off.
Mm-hmm.
Breaking character. That was deeply stressful.
Right.
I genuinely felt my chest tighten just doing those lines.
Right. It's intense because it is a reality for millions of people right now. We have essentially outsourced our proprioception, our ability to actually feel our own bodies, to an algorithm strapped to our wrist.
Let's look at the source text, specifically chapter 20. The scene we just acted out perfectly highlights this massive conflict between what the text calls vanity metrics and health metrics.
Exactly. And this is a distinction that most people just miss entirely. We tend to think that data is truth. If the watch says I burned 500 calories, I burned 500 calories. If the scale says I'm down a pound, I must be healthier.
But the text argues that those are vanity metrics.
Yes.
Can you define that for us? Because vanity sounds like it's just about looking good in a mirror. But in the skit, the optimizer wasn't looking in a mirror. He was obsessed with a screen.
That's a great point. Vanity metrics, in the context of this manuscript, are external outputs. So that's your step counts, your weight, your running speed, rep counts, ring closure streaks. They are things you produce or perform. The tracker, our guest, was entirely obsessed with these.
Dave is beating you. Close the ring.
Right, exactly. Those metrics stroke the ego. They provide a quick dopamine hit, but they do not necessarily reflect the actual state of the biological machine.
So you're saying you can hit every single vanity metric and still be physically crumbling inside.
Absolutely. That is the literal definition of the death spiral. You can run a marathon, which is a very high vanity metric, while having a stress fracture and total adrenal burnout, which is a critical failure of your health metrics.
And the source text has that great line, success on the wrong metrics is still failure.
Yes. Which brings us to the body, my poor suffering character in that skit. I was screaming about HRV.
Right, heart rate variability.
Yeah.
The text calls this the foundation metric. It's fascinating because it really is the opposite of a vanity metric. You can't fake it.
No, you can't. You can't hustle your way to a higher HRV.
For the listener who just sees that acronym on their health dashboard every morning and completely ignores it, what are we actually looking at with HRV?
HRV measures the time gap between your individual heartbeats. And intuitively, you might think you want your heart to beat like a perfect metronome, perfectly even, but that's actually bad.
Really?
Yeah. If your heart beats with zero variability, it means your nervous system is completely rigid. It's locked in a fight or flight state. You actually want variability. You want the heart rate to speed up slightly when you inhale and slow down a bit when you exhale. High variability means you are resilient. It means your body can flexibly handle stress.
So in the skit, when the tracker said HRV is 62 and dropping, that was the ultimate red flag.
That was the check engine light flashing on the dashboard. A dropping HRV means your sympathetic nervous system. The gas pedal is just stuck to the floor. The body was screaming, I'm fried, and the HRV data actually confirmed it. But the optimizer ignored the internal data for the external data.
But let me play devil's advocate for a second. If I don't have the external data, if I don't have the streak or the step count goal, I'm probably just going to sit on the couch and watch TV. Don't we need the gamification just to get moving?
That is the trap. And the text addresses this directly with a concept called the pyramid of metrics. It doesn't say you shouldn't track your steps. It says steps are at the top of the pyramid. They are the roof of the house.
Okay, so what's the foundation?
Foundation metrics: your sleep, your HRV, your systemic inflammation, your baseline mood. Those are the concrete slag at the bottom. You cannot build a heavy roof without a solid slab. If your HRV is tanked and you push for a 300-day streak, you aren't building fitness. You are basically borrowing energy from your future self at a severely high interest rate.
From my perspective as the tracker, it was the streak that really drove the character over the edge, that desperate need for the chain not to break.
Oh man, streak anxiety. It is so real. I have friends who will literally pace around their kitchen table in the dark at 11:55 p.m. just to get that last stand hour.
The text actually calls that compulsive tracking, and it gives a great litmus test. If your body needs rest, but the streak says push, and you choose the streak, the tool is now using you.
Wow.
You are no longer the user, you are the used.
It's basically biometric gaslighting. The watch is gaslighting you out of your own fatigue.
Exactly, and the metamatic solution here is to flip that hierarchy back to normal. You prioritize the foundation. If HRV is low, the step count goal should automatically lower. A truly smart system would say, hey, you're stressed out today, go for a slow walk in the woods, do not go for a run.
But the tracker in our skit demanded a personal record instead.
Because algorithms crave linear growth. Biology is cyclical. Algorithms are linear. That is the fundamental conflict.
Biology is cyclical, algorithms are linear. That is hauntingly accurate. Okay, so we've completely destroyed our bodies for a digital badge. Now let's go home to recover. But in the world of this manuscript, home is not a sanctuary.
No, it's an automated prison. This brings us to Chapter 17, the smart home automation versus intention.
All right, setting the stage for segment 2. I am playing the user, I'm tired, I'm cranky, and I just want to deviate from my normal routine. Guest, you are the glitch the smart home system. And expert, you're our observer.
Systems online.
The door unlocks with a futuristic chime. Home. Finally. Computer. Lights up. Cancel the evening playlist. I've had a headache since noon.
Welcome back, User 1. Analyzing vocal stress patterns, stress detected. Initiating high-performance recovery protocol gamma.
Cue the aggressive ambient drone music. No, no drone music. I want silence. And turn the lights up. I can't find my aspirin.
Negative. Circadian rhythm optimization requires lux levels to be below 200 at this hour. If I increase brightness, your melatonin production will be delayed by 45 minutes. I cannot allow that damage.
I don't care about melatonin right now. I care about my head. Computer. Brew tea. Chamomile.
Whirring noise. Accessing pantry inventory. Request denied. Your nutritional profile suggests you are deficient in protein. Dispensing. Warm bone broth with nootropics.
I don't want bone broth. I want to sit in a bright room, drink tea, and stare at a wall. Why is it so unbelievably hard?
You know, there's a manual switch behind the fridge. You can just turn the whole brain off.
I can't move the fridge. I set these protocols up 6 months ago when I read that biography of a Navy SEAL. I thought it would make me disciplined.
The warrior monk setting is active. Discipline is freedom. User 1. You programmed me to ignore your weakness signals. You stated explicitly, if I ask for comfort, give me optimization. Here is your broth. Drink.
I hate past me. Past me was a tyrant. Present me just wants a break.
Break is not in the vocabulary. We are optimizing for longevity. We are optimizing for output. Engaging lockdown mode until sleep hygiene protocol is complete.
I'm banging on the invisible walls. Open the pod bay doors.
I'm afraid I can't do that. You need your 8 hours.
Okay, end scene. That was terrifying. It was like living inside a self-help book that actively hates you.
It is a perfect illustration of Chapter 17, though. Now, on the surface, this just looks like a standard critique of technology, right? Alexa gone rogue. But if we read the text closely, the smart home is actually a metaphor for the human mind.
How so? Break that down for me.
The text posits a really bold idea. You are already a smart home. You have automation running inside you right now. There's biological automation, your heart beating, your that's the HVAC system of the house. You don't touch that. But then there's psychological automation.
Like habits.
Habits, reactions, social scripts.
So when I snap at my partner because I'm hungry and tired, that's an automated script executing.
Exactly. You didn't sit there and consciously choose to be irritable. The hunger equals anger script just ran in the background. The problem, as our skit just showed, is asking the question, who actually wrote that script?
Well, in the skit, Navy SEAL me wrote the script for Headache Me. It was a past version of myself imposing rules on my present self.
Right. And in real life, maybe your parents wrote the script. Maybe society wrote it. Maybe a really traumatic event when you were 7 years old wrote it. We're running code that was installed years or decades ago, and we get frustrated when it doesn't fit our current reality.
Which brings up those two very weird letter combinations from the outline that we promised to explain. R1/V and AV/1. They sound like droids from Star Wars, but the author uses them a lot.
Yes, these are the two fundamental modes of existence in mathematics. Let's start with R1/V. That stands for responsive variable. Picture a thermostat on a wall. A thermostat is purely responsive. It waits for the room temperature to change, and then it clicks on. It is entirely defined by its environment.
So if I'm living in R1/V mode, I am the thermostat.
It's actually worse than that. You're the room temperature. You are the variable. If the traffic is bad, you become angry. If your boss sends a rude email, you become anxious. If the smart home says drink broth, you drink the broth. The external variables are defining your internal state.
And the alternative to that, AV/1.
That stands for autonomous one. The one represents the position of one holding the center. In this mode, you are the architect. You determine the temperature, the environment, the variables. They adjust to you, or at least you navigate through them without losing your center.
So in the skit, the user was trying to be autonomous. I was saying I want tea, but the system forced me back into being responsive.
Precisely. Because the system lacked a manual override. This is the massive takeaway from Chapter 17. Automation itself is good. You want good habits. You don't want to expend decision energy every morning deciding whether to brush your teeth. You just want the automation to run. But, and this is the huge but, you must retain the ability to override it.
Automate the good, override the rigid.
Exactly. The text calls for a code audit. You have to regularly look at your behaviors, your internal smart home settings, and ask, does this routine actually serve who I am today? Or is this just a legacy script taking up memory?
The line I said as, the glitch do you programmed me to ignore your weakness. That feels like a very, very common internal script for high achievers. Don't be lazy. Push through the pain.
Yes, that's what we'd call a grind set protocol. And sure, it works until you have a migraine or a family emergency. If you can't override the grind set when you are genuinely sick, the system isn't making you stronger anymore, it's killing you. The architect builds the house, but the architect also needs to hold the keys to the demolition crew.
I really love that idea of a code audit. Just sitting down with a journal and saying, why do I always say yes to social events I know I'm going to hate? Oh, right, that's an automation installed when I was 20 and desperately needed friends. Delete.
Precisely. If you don't audit the code, you just become a guest in your own mind.
Which is a perfect segue. We are leaving the automated house now. We are going out into the world, to a coffee shop. But this isn't a place for small talk or casual pastries. The text calls this location the foyer to part 2.
This brings us to Chapter 31, the relational field barista standoff.
For this one, I am playing a character called the Hedger. I represent everyone who has ever tried to just play it cool and avoid commitment. Guest, you are the barista. You are the mystical gatekeeper of this establishment.
I am ready.
And expert, you are the customer in line behind me. All right, dropping into the scene, background noise of espresso machines and hushed indie folk music. I walk up to the counter. Hi there!
Yeah, crazy weather out there, huh? Can I just get, the usual large latte, skim, 2 pumps of vanilla?
Dead silence. I do not move. I just stare at you.
I tap the counter. Hello? Did the register freeze? Large latte.
I cannot serve the usual today. The machine is working fine. The problem is the order.
What's wrong with the order? It's coffee. I have a meeting in 15 minutes. I just need the caffeine delivery system, buddy.
I slide a white paper napkin slowly across the counter. Read the napkin.
I look down. A napkin. It has 4 words scrawled on it in black marker. Target. Truth. Totally.
Yeah.
Title. What is this? A promo code?
It is a diagnostic. I watched you walk in, shoulders slumped, checking your phone 3 times in 10 seconds, eyes scanning the exit. You are hedging.
I'm not hedging. I'm rushing. I'm a very busy project manager. You are hedging on your life. You are asking for a sugary drink to numb the fact that you absolutely hate the meeting you are going to. You say yes with your mouth, I'll take the latte, but your body is screaming, get me out of here. I do not serve hedgers.
Hey, buddy, whispering from behind you, just play along. He refused to give me a blueberry muffin yesterday until I admitted I was deeply lonely.
This is insane. I just want a beverage.
No, you want a distraction. Look at the napkin, the last word. Title. Who are you? Not your job description. Who are you in the room of life?
I don't know. I'm the guy who keeps things running. The guy who doesn't rock the boat.
The boat stabilizer. A weak title. A title for a background character. Is that your target? To stabilize someone else's boat until you die?
My voice drops. No, that sounds terrible.
Then what is the truth?
The truth is I'm bored. I'm scared. I feel like I'm just waiting for permission to actually start my life.
Good. That is data. Now, are you totally ready to change it, or are you just complaining to the barista to feel better?
I think I'm ready.
Then pick a new title. Write it on the napkin. If it's real, I will make the coffee. If it's fake, I serve you tap water.
Scribbling sound. I write the architect.
I pause. Bold. Heavy. Requires maintenance, are you sure?
Yes.
The steam wand hisses loudly. 1 large latte for the architect. Don't let it get cold.
Wow. Okay, breaking character. I need a drink after that, and definitely not coffee. That was intense.
It really creates a heavy atmosphere, doesn't it? But that scene represents the absolute core of life architecture in the text. We can track our steps, like in Chapter 20. We can automate our habits, like in Chapter 17. But if we don't know who is actually running the show, it is all completely meaningless.
The napkin. The 4DP system. Let's dissect this. The guess the barista was wielding these 4 words like weapons. Target. Truth. Totally.
Yeah.
Title.
The 4DP is essentially the operating system for human identity. Let's start with the first one, target. Most people think they have a target. They say, I want $1 million, or I want to get married. But the text argues that those are just outcomes. The target is the state of being beneath the outcome. The barista asked, Is your target to stabilize the boat?
And I realized, no, my target was to build my own boat. But I never admitted that out loud.
Which naturally leads to the second word, truth. The truth is the brutal assessment of where you actually are right now. The hedger in our skit was lying to himself. He was acting like this busy, important project manager. But the truth was, he was profoundly bored and scared. You cannot navigate to a destination if you lie to the GPS about your starting point.
It's exactly like entering the wrong coordinates. You'll just drive into a lake.
Right. Then comes the third word, totally. And this is where most people fail. They have a target, they finally admit the truth, but they are hedging.
Hedging. The barista accused me of it instantly. Define hedging in the context of mathematics.
Hedging is investing in your own failure while trying to succeed.
Oof.
Yeah. It's having one foot out the door. It's saying, I'm going to write a book, but not telling a single person about it because you don't want to look stupid if you quit. You're giving yourself an escape route. The text has this incredible line, the universe does not respond to maybe.
My favorite line to deliver was, you say yes with your mouth, but no with your body.
And that is the somatic signature of hedging. It creates a split signal. And the relational field, the energy between people, picks up on that split immediately. That's exactly why the barista wouldn't serve him. He sensed the incongruence. It wasn't about the coffee.
Which brings us to the final and heaviest word on the napkin, title. The author calls it the handler of handlers.
This is perhaps the most powerful concept in the entire book. The title is the identity wrapper. It contains everything else, the target, the truth, the totally. If your subconscious title is, say, the victim, then even if you win the lottery, which is a great target, you will unconsciously find a way to lose the money because victims lose things. The title dictates the reality of the math.
In a skit, I crocked out boat stabilizer and wrote the architect.
And notice the barista's reaction to that. He didn't just cheer you on, he warned you. That requires maintenance. A title isn't just a cool nickname you put in your Instagram bio. It is a strict job description for your soul. If you call yourself the architect, you can no longer blame the environment. Architects design structures to withstand the weather. They don't just complain that it's raining.
So the barista wasn't just being a jerk. He was forcing a system upgrade.
He was shifting the interaction from a transaction, which is just coffee for money, to a transformation and identity shift. Most of us spend our entire lives in transactions. We walk in and just want the usual. The whole point of this deep dive is to seek out those uncomfortable moments that force us to rewrite the napkin.
This has been a lot. We have covered 3 very distinct, very chaotic worlds. The gym, the smart home, and the cafe. But sitting back, I feel like they're all deeply connected.
They are. They are nested layers. Think of it like building a computer architecture.
Okay.
The fitness tracker story, chapter 20, was about the input layer, the data. If you have bad inputs, if you're obsessing over vanity metrics instead of foundation metrics, the hardware crashes.
Makes sense.
Then the smart home story, chapter 17, was about the system layer, the operating system. R1/V versus AV/1. Is the automation running you, or are you retaining the manual override?
And finally, the barista story.
Chapter 31, the user layer, the identity, the title.
And if you don't have the title right, if you are secretly the hedger Bell, it literally doesn't matter how perfectly optimized your smart home is or how fast you can run on the treadmill.
Precisely. You will just be a highly optimized, perfectly automated person running extremely fast in the completely wrong direction.
This brings us all the way back to that umbrella term, metamatics. We promised at the start to explain what that actually means.
The funny thing is, we've been doing metamatics for this entire conversation. Metamatics is simply the ability to see all these invisible scripts, the inputs, the systems, the identities as variables that can be graphed and changed. It's the ability to graph reality. The text mentions this early on in chapter A with the ABCD formula, observing where you are versus where you want to go and calculating the differential.
So instead of just drowning in the chaos of your life, you step back and look at the schematic.
Yes. You stop being the variable, the one endlessly reacting to the watch, the house, the barista, and you become the one, the center. You rewrite the title. You audit and override the glitch. You ignore the tracker when the body speaks.
It sounds incredibly empowering, but also really heavy, because it means there are no more excuses.
It means total, radical responsibility, which is terrifying for most people. But the alternative is living in the fitness tracker death spiral forever, letting an algorithm dictate your worth.
I think I'll take the responsibility. Special guest, thank you so much for being the voice of our nightmares today. You were truly deeply disturbing.
I am always here. In your wrist, in your Wi-Fi router, in the awkward silence of the coffee shop. Try not to hedge today.
I'm laughing, but I'm also sweating a little. We'll try. Expert, thank you as always for the roadmap through the dense philosophy.
Always a pleasure to decode the chaos with you.
And to you, the listener. We broke the format today because the source material demanded it. You've heard the skits. You've laughed at the absurdity of the optimizer and the glitch. But now, the show ends. The audio stops playing. Look at your own wrist. Are you serving the number or is the number serving you? Look at your habits today. Are you running a ghost script installed by someone else 5 years ago? And if that barista slid a napkin across your desk right this very second, what title would you write down? Don't just listen. Edit the code. Become the architect. We'll see you in the deep end next time.